me just play news guy, updater person for 1 second, because if you don't follow those trends, you are going to have no idea what this show is all about. But all you need to know is that WWE had a pay-per-view in Saudi Arabia called Crown Jewel. A bunch of wrestlers got stuck out there for reasons we're not 100% sure of, and it meant they couldn't make it to Friday Night SmackDown, so everything was thrown out the window, and we got a show where WWE's back was against the wall. But as we have now found out, maybe WWE's back should always be forced against the wall, because they came out punching, and they came out fighting, and they gave us one hell of an enjoyable ride, or at least that's how I saw it. This could be one of those moments that when you look back in 6 months you go, well, it seemed like a terrible thing at the time, but in terms of the entertainment factor of the show, it ramped it up the 2-9. My name is Simon Miller. Let's up those smacker downs. SmackDown began with Brock Lesnar and Paul Heyman coming to the ring, and they were so pissed off, they quit the show. Up. Tying into everything that happened at Crown Jewel, the WWE Champion and his little best friend were livid as to what Rey Mysterio had done after his match with Cain Velasquez. If you haven't seen that, basically Rey was like, I remember what you did to my son, Brock Lesnar. So he got in there and he just smashed the crap out of him with a steel chair. Even though if you want to bring balance back to the Force, you could say Rey, a good father, would have taken Dominic to one show. He would have then got brutalized by Brock Lesnar. And like I say, Father of the Year would have gone, I won't take him to another show in case it happens twice. So after going to Vince McMahon and asking him to fix this and being told in no uncertain terms, well, I can't help with that, pal, because Brock Lesnar is a SmackDown superstar and Rey Mysterio is a Raw superstar, Heyman said, all right, well, we're going to go to Monday nights anyway, and if somebody does want to stop us, well, I'd like to see you try. Now, the cool thing about this is that we actually have a continuation or some continuity in the storyline between Brock Lesnar and Rey Mysterio, and I never thought that was going to happen. I just thought he was going to be used as a way to introduce Cain Velasquez into proceedings, but now we also have a reason to watch Raw. We are ticking boxes all over the place. But with that said, WWE, you really got to start getting your damn ducks in a damn row, because 7 days ago, I saw Rey Mysterio on SmackDown and nobody made a peep. So here's your two options. Either pretend you have a brand split, but just go wink, wink, nudge, nudge, no we don't, or actually have a brand split. Because now, as a geeky, nerdy fan, I go, all right, so Rey is allowed to go on SmackDown, even though Vince McMahon said we weren't allowed to do that, but Brock Lesnar can't go to Raw and he has to quit. Doesn't make any sense. That's the truth of it. It doesn't make any sense. Down. The main reason I don't like it is because I try and figure it out, and then I just feel like a really rubbish detective. The first time I realized I had to start my investigation was when Rey Mysterio turned up on SmackDown, and he was allowed to do that despite being a Raw superstar, and then Brock Lesnar was told, haha, Brock Lesnar, you're not allowed to do the same. This made me question things, it made me question life, and I decided I should look into it, and my findings were thus: WWE just makes things up as they go along, or stuff just happens. Still, I really do want to see where this is going to go, even though I'm perplexed about how WWE has treated Cain up to this point. It now just looks like we did this so Brock Lesnar could get his win back, even though beneath the surface, it seems like Velasquez's knee was worse than originally thought, so he's come in, and now he's going straight back out again. But still, we kind of buried him. That's one of the worst WWE debuts ever, let's face it. Those two left the arena, and can you believe it, from behind a pile of boxes or some kind of madness in the backstage area, Shawn Michaels and Triple H popped out of nowhere. Crowd went nuts, and at this stage, nobody knew what was about to happen, but here is a little spoiler. It rocked. It was then our first match of the evening, which was SmackDown Women's Champion Bayley taking on Nikki Cross for her title, but we're just going to get through that as quickly as we possibly can, because I know deep down you don't care about it. All you need to know is a very good match. Sasha Banks was on the outside. At one point she pushed Nikki Cross on the top rope. That allowed Bayley to do her weird new finisher, which is like knee face into floor. I'll call it knee face into floor. And she walked away with the gold. But the reason I have flown through that faster than a plane leaving Saudi Arabia with WWE stars on it, boy howdy, am I hilarious is because as soon as this was done, the NXT Women's Champion, look at my eyes, Shayna Baszler came out. She made a beeline for Sasha Banks. She beat her ass. And then when was she done? She got in the ring and she beat up Bayley and she beat up Nikki Cross too. If you had looked at her, she was beating you up. So if you've ever asked the question, would Shayna be as devastating on the main roster as she has been down in NXT? We got the answer right here, and it was yes. Make sure you give that an up. And this is where our brains started to melt because we were like, oh my gosh, I think I know what's going to happen. Who else is going to show up this evening? This was just the start. Like I say, get in, we are in for a comfortable ride. We then come back to Sami Zayn, who is an observant fellow, and he had noticed that a lot of the NXT roster was coming on to SmackDown. But he made it very clear, if anybody comes and tries to, whoop my ass, I will not stand for it because I'm Sami Zayn and I wear a cool hat. At that moment, Matt Riddle and Keith Lee turned up. Zayn freaked out and said that actually he was a huge supporter of NXT and that when he was down there, a lot of people said he was the face of the brand, to the point he was even wearing an NXT t-shirt earlier. He'd taken it off, he left it in his car, and he was going to go to said automobile and put it on, and they could all celebrate together. He then started to walk to his car, Riddle and Lee followed him, and when Sami Zayn realized he was in trouble, he just legged it to the ring. And from there, it was destruction time again because Riddle hit Sami Zayn with the Bro Derek, and Keith Lee, and my word, do I love Keith Lee, hit him with this moonsault that probably just made some children pop out into the world. It was that good, and I don't even know what that means. By this point, you knew what was happening, and fair play to WWE for coming up with an excellent story when they had barely any time to come up with an excellent story. Like, I was intrigued, and I was like, even if I wasn't watching this for ups and downs, I certainly wouldn't turn off. I'm desperate to see what's next. However, you do know what we have to do, so bring it down. I know it wasn't an official match, but as always, even, out of nowhere, we didn't actually have a story. Someone went, well, if everyone's going to get beat up, one of those people absolutely has to be Sami Zayn. So there it is, the Sami tally. I mean, how long has this been going on now? I can't even remember what the number is, but we mark the board. Maybe one day Sami Zayn will be in a position where he looks dominant. We then got a recap of everything that happened at Crown Jewel between Braun Strowman and Tyson Fury before we were headed to Miz TV. Now, originally, The Miz was going to be interviewing our brand new Universal Champion, The Fiend Bray Wyatt, but obviously he wasn't here either, so The Miz just went, I'll just interview myself, because of course. Unfortunately, he didn't get very far though, because he was interrupted by none other than Tommaso Ciampa. Give it an up. Ciampa got in the ring and told Miz that he was everything that was wrong with sports entertainment. And the Miz responded by very honestly saying, bro, people have been saying that to me for the last 15 years, so you can shut your hole. Tommaso then's like, that sounds like fighting words. Maybe we should have a match. And they not only did have a match right there and right then, but Tommaso Ciampa beat The Miz after the fairy tale ending. Now, I know a lot of people are going to roll their eyes at this, but that is an NXT dude beating a former WWE champion. And not only a former WWE champion, but somebody that the company absolutely loves. This should be played up like a big deal as it was on commentary. They were acting like, I don't know, we'd just gone to the moon for the first time. That was the equivalent. This also probably did more for Ciampa than all those weeks when he was actually on Raw and SmackDown back in the summer or whenever the hell that was. And now, once again, I don't know what we're going to do, because you don't need to do Ciampa versus The Miz too. He already beat him. So if you haven't worked out, I thought all of this was great. But I do take on the point that if you're a casual fan, or you're not really into NXT, you'd be like, where's Roman Reigns? Where's Bray Wyatt? Where's all my superstars? But you can't put the blame on WWE's shoulders for that. They were just reacting to life. And I thought this was a great way to react. We then found out what our main event was going to be. And honestly, I can't even believe the world we now live in. If you're old like me, you remember a time where if you were an indie guy, you were never going to be allowed into World Wrestling Entertainment or the World Wrestling Federation. And then this happened. For starters, Daniel Bryan was walking around backstage trying to figure out what the hell was going on when he bumped into Triple H and Shawn Michaels. Daniel was in a fighting mood, so he challenged the game to a match. He said no, but I've got someone who's well up for it. There was also genuinely a very funny skit during this when Shawn Michaels started to take his jumper off and then eventually went, oh no, I'm cold, I put it back on, because you're meant to think it was going to be Daniel Bryan versus Shawn Michaels. But I was all right with the alternative because Triple H called in the NXT champion, which yes means our main event on SmackDown, which is WWE's biggest show right now, was Daniel Bryan versus Adam Cole. The NXT Championship was also going to be on the line, and no word of a lie, at one point in the reality that we currently exist in, this would have been impossible. I must have walked through a door and now I'm living in a different timeline. The shit craziness continued because then we jumped to Fire and Desire, who were in the ring and they were going to have a tag match against Carmella and Dana Brooke, but they did not because Bianca Belair beat up Dana Brooke and Carmella, which allowed Rhea Ripley and Tegan Nox to come out, and they were like, well, we're just going to have your tag match instead. Or I should say, well, mate, we're going to have your tag match instead because Rhea Ripley is Australian and I can't do Australian accents, give it up. And they absolutely destroyed them as well. I don't think this match went more than 2 minutes, and eventually Mandy Rose was tapping out to Rhea Ripley's inverted cloverleaf thing, which does make it look like she's just going to rip the legs off her opponent. Triple H and Shawn Michaels then came out to ringside, as did Stephanie McMahon, because she wanted to talk about the women's revolution, evolution, whatever they're calling it, in conjunction with Crown Jewel, where of course we saw the first women's match in Saudi Arabia, which was Lacey Evans versus Natalya. Now just go and watch my ups and downs from Crown Jewel to get my extended thoughts, but look, everybody here was really happy, and while this was a little bit too much in your face, I'm not going to get mad at it again. You can just watch that thing and find out what I thought. It was then Adam Cole versus Daniel Bryan for the NXT Championship, and I absolutely loved it. What a beautiful world we are living in. A crazy world, an absolutely nuts world, but this was just the kind of match I know a lot of fans have been clamoring for when it comes to WWE television. So it's not just an up, it's a golden up. The fans were behind both guys, which added to the atmosphere, and this just felt so fresh, and there were plenty of cool moments in it, like when Daniel Bryan would lock on a hold or beat up Adam Cole for a while, and then he'd just glare at Triple H like he was gonna rip his beard off. Also, I don't know how Adam Cole did this with a broken wrist or fractured hand, whatever he's got. Like, he's just an incredible professional wrestler, and being able to bust out this kind of performance when you're not 100%, you get the round of applause. There were plenty of occasions where it seemed like Daniel Bryan was gonna get the win, including when he locked in the yes lock, but my friends, that is not what happened. What did happen is that Adam Cole hit the Panama Sunrise, he hit the last shot, and he beat the 5-time champion, or whatever the hell Daniel Bryan is, he beat him clean in the middle of a WWE ring. It was now abundantly clear that this was part of an NXT Invasion storyline, and this is how you do it, because whoever the attackers are have to come in and have to get all the momentum and have to get all the wins so that we, the fans, can go, oh my gosh, they're a threat. It's the exact opposite what we did back in 2001 with WCW, where those guys walked in and they're like, you're a bunch of chumps, and they just got beaten. SmackDown then finished with the entire NXT roster standing with Triple H as he celebrated with his champions and shouted, we are NXT, and Raw and SmackDown, the battle has just begun. Also a quick shout out to Tommaso Ciampa, who stared at the NXT Championship throughout all of this, because he doesn't let a storyline drop, because he is a damn good pro wrestler. But I tell you, if you're into NXT and you're into SmackDown, this would have lit some fires under your ass. It was just incredibly entertaining, and if you're a more casual viewer, you'll be sat there going, I have no idea what just happened, but that's all good. There's a little something for everyone. So yeah, this was absolutely brilliant, and doubly so because WWE just pulled it out of nowhere. Give him my spinny arrow, give it an up. Just fantastic. That's all I've got. I'm gonna walk off this time. I say I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna duck over here because it's just the way that the world works. I just duck. We back off like this, like a camel. I'll give you some noises. Beep, beep, like a truck. I don't know. Now, don't forget to leave a comment below and let us know what you thought about last night's SmackDown. I can already see some of them. Well, I don't think it's fair that Roman Reigns was on the show. You're right. It's not. If you paid your money and you didn't get to see him, it does blow. But what are you gonna do? That's life. It gets in the way. Like, share and subscribe. Head over to WhatCulture.com and read yourself some articles. Follow WhatCulture on Twitter at WhatCulture WWE. Watch more videos here on WhatCulture Wrestling. My name is Simon from WhatCulture. What a crazy ups and downs.
Looks like we can wear yellow on Fridays and Mondays as well then. Do we have everybody's attention now?